Stand to the side, Patricia. You're blocking the real family, my mother said, physically pushing me away from my siblings during the Christmas photo setup. The photographer, a young woman named Kelly, looked confused. Isn't she your daughter? Kelly asked. Mom laughed, that fake tinkling sound she used for strangers. Technically. But we're focusing on the immediate family today. I was the immediate family. Her eldest daughter, standing there in the red dress she'd insisted I wear, holding my 4-year-old daughter Sophie's hand. But I knew what this was about. I'd refused to give her the $40,000 she demanded for her emergency last month. My siblings, twins Brandon and Brittany, smirked as they posed with their spouses and children. They'd given Mom money. They always did. They were the real family now. Mommy, why can't we be in the picture? Sophie asked, her voice small and confused. We're taking separate ones, sweetheart, I lied, my heart breaking. Kelly the photographer was setting up her equipment, but I noticed her frowning. She kept glancing between Mom and me, something flickering in her eyes. Recognition? No, we'd never met. But something was definitely bothering her about this situation. She would later tell me she'd photographed over 100 family sessions, and something felt very wrong about ours. To understand that humiliating Christmas photo session, you need context. Mom had always played favorites, but it got worse after Dad died 5 years ago. He'd been the buffer, the one who'd insisted on fairness. Without him, Mom's true nature emerged. Brandon and Brittany, the miracle twins born when Mom was 40, had always been golden. They could do no wrong. I was the accident from her first marriage at 20, the reminder of her mistake with my biological father. When Dad's life insurance paid out, Mom received $500,000. She'd blown through it in 3 years. Designer clothes, luxury vacations, plastic surgery, and loans to the twins that were never repaid. Now broke at 65, she'd become desperate. Last month, she'd called me crying. I'm going to lose the house. I need $40,000 by December or they'll foreclose. I'd asked to see the foreclosure notice. She'd refused. I'd offered to help her budget, to call the bank, to explore options. She'd exploded. Just give me the money. A good daughter wouldn't ask questions. I'd said no. I had Sophie's college fund to think about, my own mortgage, my husband Dan recovering from surgery. $40,000 wasn't something I could spare. That's when she'd turned cold. Stopped inviting me to family dinners. Removed me from the family group chat. Now this. As I continue, please subscribe, comment, like, and share this video. 3. The photo session continued with me and Sophie watching from the side. 23 relatives posed while we stood like outcasts. Kelly kept glancing at us, her discomfort obvious. Should we get some with everyone? Kelly suggested professionally. This is everyone who matters, Mom said loudly. Patricia made her choice when she decided money was more important than family. Mom, that's not, I started. Don't cause a scene, she hissed. You're embarrassing yourself. Brandon stepped forward, playing peacemaker. Maybe just one with everyone? For Grandpa's memory? Mom's face softened for her golden boy. Fine. One quick one. Patricia, you can stand in the back. Try not to ruin it. We joined the group, Sophie and I tucked behind everyone like afterthoughts. Kelly took the photo, but her jaw was clenched. Now individual family units, Kelly announced. I'll start with. She looked at her list. Patricia and Sophie? They're not scheduled for individual shots, Mom said quickly. We're only paying for the real family members. Kelly's eyes flashed. Actually, it's included in the package. No extra charge. Mom couldn't argue with free, though she clearly wanted to. Kelly positioned Sophie and me carefully, taking extra time with our shots. As Kelly photographed us, she leaned in close. "Has your mother always been like this?" she whispered while adjusting my hair. "Worse lately," I admitted quietly. Kelly nodded, continuing to shoot. "Sophie, you're doing amazing. Just like a model." Sophie beamed, twirling in her Christmas dress. For a moment, we forgot about Mom's cruelty. "Patricia, can I ask you something?" Kelly said while changing lenses. "What did you refuse to give your mother?" "Money," I said simply. $40,000 I don't have." Kelly's eyes widened slightly. "And that's why she's doing this?" "Among other reasons," I said, glancing at the twins posing with their perfect families. "Interesting," Kelly murmured, taking more photos. After our session, Kelly pulled me aside while packing up. "I need to tell you something," she said quietly. "But not here. Can you meet me at the coffee shop on Main tomorrow?" "Why?" I asked, confused. "Your mother hired me before," Kelly said. 3 months ago. Not for photos. For something else. You need to know about it." My stomach dropped. "What did she hire you for?" Kelly glanced at Mom, who was directing the twins' photo shoot. "Tomorrow. 10 a.m. Bring any financial documents you have about your father's estate." She handed me her business card and left quickly. I barely slept that night. What had Mom hired a photographer for 3 months ago? Dan held me as I cried, partly from the photo session humiliation, partly from fear of what I'd learn tomorrow. "Maybe it's nothing," he said gently. "Kelly seemed pretty serious," I replied. "And Mom's been acting stranger than usual." The next morning, I arrived at the coffee shop with a folder of Dad's estate documents. I'd kept copies of everything, a habit that had annoyed Mom. Kelly was already there, laptop open, looking serious. "Thank you for coming," she said. "I've been debating telling you this for months." "Telling me what?" "Your mother hired me in September," Kelly began. "Not for photography. She wanted me to use my photo editing skills." She turned her laptop toward me. "To create these." On the screen were family photos, beautifully edited. But I wasn't in any of them. Neither was Sophie. We'd been completely erased. Every family gathering, every Christmas, every birthday from the last 20 years. Photos I knew we'd been in, now showing only Mom, Dad, and the twins. She wanted a clean family album, Kelly explained. Without the complications from her first marriage. My hands shook. "She paid you to erase me from family history?" "She tried to," Kelly said. "Offered me $5,000. I didn't do it," Kelly said quickly. "I told her my computer crashed and I lost the files. But I kept everything as evidence." "Evidence of what?" I asked. "That's not illegal, just cruel." "There's more," Kelly said, pulling up emails. "She wasn't just erasing you from photos. She was building a case." The emails revealed Mom's plan. She was claiming I'd been estranged from the family for years, that I'd abandoned them, that Dad had verbally disowned me before death. "Why?" I asked, confused. "Your father's estate had a clause," Kelly explained. "If any child was estranged or disowned, their portion would be redistributed to the others. But I wasn't estranged. I saw Dad every week until he died." "I know," Kelly said. "That's why she needed the photos edited. To prove you weren't part of the family." "She already got all of Dad's life insurance," I said. "What else is there?" Kelly pulled up another document. "Did you know about your father's investment account?" I hadn't. Kelly showed me screenshots from Mom's email to the twins. Dad had a separate investment account worth $300,000 that would mature 5 years after his death. This December. The money was to be split equally among his 3 children. Unless one was proven estranged. She's trying to steal my inheritance, I said, the pieces clicking together. That's why she wanted $40,000, Kelly said. Legal fees to file the estrangement claim. The twins probably gave it to her. I felt sick. My own mother was building a legal case to disinherit me. Why are you telling me this? I asked Kelly. Because I have a mother like yours, she said simply. I know what it's like. And because what she's doing is fraud. Kelly had saved everything. Email threads where Mom discussed the plan with the twins. Requests for edited photos. Even a recorded phone call where Mom admitted I'd never been estranged. I recorded it for my protection, Kelly explained. When clients ask for illegal things, I document everything. This is conspiracy to commit fraud, I said, my paralegal training kicking in. All three of them could face charges. That's why I thought you should know, Kelly said. Before they file anything official. I stared at the evidence. My family had conspired to erase me, literally and legally. There's one more thing, Kelly said, pulling up yesterday's photos. I noticed something at the session. She zoomed in on Mom's necklace. Dad's mother's ruby necklace, worth $50,000. The one supposedly stolen in a break-in last year. She reported it stolen for insurance money, I breathed. But she's wearing it. Publicly, Kelly added. At a documented photo session. That's insurance fraud. The crimes were stacking up. Conspiracy to commit inheritance fraud. Insurance fraud. Attempted document forgery. What do I do? I asked. First, get a lawyer, Kelly advised. Second, get to the investment company before they do. I called my friend Mark, an estate attorney, from the parking lot. He agreed to meet immediately. Bring everything, he said after I explained. We need to file an injunction today. I drove to Mark's office, Kelly following with her laptop. She'd agreed to be a witness. Mark reviewed everything, his face growing darker. This is criminal, he said. Your mother and siblings could face serious charges. I don't want them in jail, I said. I just want my inheritance protected. We can file a civil injunction first, Mark said. Freeze the assets until this is resolved. But Patricia, if they've already filed false documents, it becomes criminal automatically. We drove to the investment firm. I held my breath as Mark spoke to the manager. You're just in time, the manager said. Your mother filed a claim yesterday. We were processing it Monday. The manager pulled up Mom's filing. She'd submitted the edited photos as evidence, along with affidavits from the twins claiming I'd been estranged for years. This is fraud, Mark said firmly. We have proof these photos were doctored and the affidavits are false. The manager immediately froze the account. We'll need to investigate, he said. This is serious. Mark filed an emergency injunction with the court. A hearing was set for December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. Your mother will be served papers today, Mark warned. Be prepared for backlash. The backlash came within hours. Mom called screaming. You ungrateful bitch. How dare you interfere with family business? Stealing my inheritance is family business? I shot back. You were cut out, she screamed. Your father never wanted you to have anything. Then why did you need fake photos? I asked calmly. She hung up. The twins started their assault next. Brittany sent vicious texts about how I was destroying the family. Brandon called Dan, threatening him. We documented everything, Dan told them. Keep threatening us. It helps our case. Then came the extended family calls. Mom had told everyone I was trying to steal from her. The lies were elaborate and convincing. But I had an ally they didn't expect, Kelly. She posted on her photography business page about the importance of ethical practices. Without naming names, she described being asked to alter family photos for fraudulent purposes. "I've been in this business 10 years, she wrote. "I've never seen anything so cruel as a mother trying to erase her own child from family history." The post went viral in our community. People started asking if it was about them. Someone recognized Mom from Kelly's description of the Christmas photo session. Within hours, everyone knew. Mom called again, hysterical. "That photographer is lying. I'll sue her for defamation." "Truth isn't defamation," I said. "And she has recordings of you admitting everything." "I'm your mother." Mom wailed. "How can you do this to me? How can you try to erase me?" I countered. "You literally tried to remove me from family photos." "You wouldn't give me money," she admitted. "You have plenty, and you wouldn't share." "I don't have plenty," I said. "And even if I did, it doesn't justify fraud." "Family helps family," she insisted. "Family doesn't steal from family," I corrected. "See you in court." December 23rd arrived cold and bright. The courthouse was packed. Apparently, Kelly's viral post had attracted attention. Local reporters were there. Mark had warned me this might happen. "High-profile fraud cases attract media," he'd said. Mom arrived with the twins and their lawyer. She was wearing all black like she was in mourning. The performance had begun. Kelly testified first, presenting the original photos, the edited versions, and Mom's emails requesting the alterations. She specifically said she wanted Patricia removed to clean up the family image, Kelly testified. The judge examined the evidence, his face stern. "These are the same photos submitted as evidence of estrangement," he asked Mom's lawyer. "We were unaware they were edited," the lawyer claimed. Kelly played the recorded phone call. Mom's voice filled the courtroom. "Patricia was never estranged. But if we remove her from photos, who can prove otherwise? Her father's dead." The twins shifted uncomfortably. They hadn't known about the recording. Next, the insurance investigator testified about the stolen necklace Mom was wearing in the Christmas photos. Mom's face went white. She hadn't expected that to come up. The judge looked disgusted. "This is a pattern of fraudulent behavior," he said. Mark presented our evidence methodically. Phone records showing weekly calls between Dad and me until his death. Medical records showing I was at the hospital when he died. Photos from Kelly's camera showing me at family events Mom claimed I hadn't attended. "Your Honor," Mark said, "this is a coordinated attempt to defraud my client of her rightful inheritance through forged evidence and false testimony." The twins' lawyer tried to argue they were misled by Mom. "Our clients believed their mother's version of events." "Did they?" the judge asked. "Or did they participate knowingly?" He pulled up Brandon's affidavit. "You swear here that Patricia hasn't attended family events in 5 years. Yet here's a photo from last Christmas with you and her together." Brandon stammered. I forgot about that." "You forgot your sister attended Christmas?" the judge asked skeptically. Brittany tried next. "Mom told us Patricia was estranged emotionally, even if she showed up sometimes." "That's not what your affidavit says," the judge noted. "You specifically state she was physically absent." The lies were collapsing. Mom started crying, but the judge wasn't moved. "Tears don't erase fraud, Mrs. Henderson." The judge's ruling was swift and harsh. The entire investment account was awarded to me. As the only party who didn't commit fraud, he stated. Mom and the twins were ordered to pay my legal fees. The insurance fraud was referred to the prosecutor. Furthermore, the judge said, "I'm recommending criminal charges for conspiracy to commit fraud." Mom collapsed dramatically. The twins tried to support her, but they looked terrified. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded us. Kelly stood beside me as Mark made a statement. This case highlights the importance of maintaining document integrity and the serious consequences of fraud, even within families. Mom was led away by the twins, shooting me one last venomous look. "You've destroyed our family," Brittany screamed. "No," I said calmly. "You three did that when you conspired to steal from me." The reporters loved it. By evening, the story was on the local news. "Mother tries to erase daughter from family photos in inheritance scam" was the headline. Sophie watched, confused. "Why did Grandma want to remove us from pictures?" "Because Grandma is sick," Dan explained gently. "Sick with greed." Christmas Eve was quiet. Just Dan, Sophie, and me. No extended family drama. No toxic mother. No enabling siblings. Peace. Kelly stopped by with a gift. "I wanted to give you these," she said, handing me an album. Inside were all the original photos, beautifully restored. Years of family memories with me still in them. "You deserve to exist in your own history," she said. I cried, hugging her. This stranger had shown me more kindness than my own mother. "There's more," Kelly said. "I'm starting a support group for people with toxic families. Would you consider sharing your story?" I agreed. My story might help others recognize manipulation and fraud. That evening, as Sophie hung her stocking, she asked, "Will Grandma come tomorrow?" "No, sweetheart," I said. "Grandma made bad choices. She needs time to think about them." "Will she say sorry?" Sophie asked hopefully. "I don't know," I admitted. "But we're okay without her apology." Dan hugged us both. We have our own family. That's what matters. Christmas morning was peaceful. No walking on eggshells. No cruel comments. No manipulation. Just love. January brought the criminal charges. Mom and the twins were formally charged with conspiracy to commit fraud, insurance fraud, and filing false legal documents. Their mugshots made the paper. The community was shocked. The respectable Henderson family exposed as criminals. Mom tried to call me from jail. I didn't accept the charges. The twins' spouses reached out. Brandon's wife was filing for divorce. "I can't be married to someone who would do this," she said. Brittany's husband was staying but insisted on therapy. "We need to understand how this happened," he said. The investment money was transferred to my account. $300,000 Dad had saved for his children's futures. I set aside the twins' portions in trust for their kids. "They shouldn't suffer for their parents' crimes," I told Mark. "That's generous," he said. "More than they deserve." "It's what Dad would want," I replied. He loved his grandchildren equally. Mom was released on bail, paid by her sister. She immediately started a campaign to turn the family against me. "Patricia destroyed us over money," she told anyone who'd listen. But Kelly's documentation was public. Everyone could see the edited photos, hear the recordings. Mom's lies couldn't stand against evidence. The trial was set for March. Mom's lawyer tried to plea bargain, but the prosecutor was firm. "The evidence is overwhelming. She'll serve time." The twins flipped on Mom to save themselves. They testified she'd manipulated them, threatened to cut them off if they didn't comply. "We were victims too," Brittany cried on the stand. But their text messages showed enthusiasm for the plan. Brandon had even suggested which photos to edit for maximum impact. They got probation and community service. Mom got 18 months in minimum security. "For an elderly first offender, this is significant," the judge said. "But fraud within families is particularly heinous." Mom screamed at me as they led her away. "You're not my daughter. You're dead to me." "I've been dead to you for years," I replied. "You tried to erase me, remember?" Kelly captured it all. She was documenting everything for a photography ethics presentation. The courtroom cleared, and I stood alone with Dan and Sophie. "Is it over?" Sophie asked. "This part is," I said. "Now we heal." Mom served 6 months before being released to house arrest. The ankle monitor and curfew humiliated her more than jail had. She lived with her sister, who called occasionally to guilt me. "She's your mother. She's suffering." "She chose suffering when she chose fraud," I replied. The twins tried to rebuild their lives. Brandon's divorce was final. Brittany's marriage survived, barely. Both were personas non grata in our social circles. "Nobody trusts us anymore," Brittany complained in a rare phone call. "Trust is earned," I said. "You showed everyone who you really are." "We were always treated as less than you," she exploded. "Mom loved us more." "And look where that love led you," I said. "Criminal records and broken families." The investment money allowed Dan and me to pay off our mortgage, fully fund Sophie's education, and start a foundation. The Patricia Henderson Foundation for Family Fraud Victims. "Dad would be proud," Dan said. Turning pain into purpose. We gave our first grant to a woman whose siblings had forged her out of her inheritance. Kelly connected us. She'd become our unofficial scout for victims. Christmas approached again, 1 year after the photo session humiliation. Kelly called with an idea. "Let's do a real family photo session. Your chosen family." We gathered at the park. Dan, Sophie, Kelly and her partner, Mark and his family, the support group members who'd become friends. "This is my family," I told the new photographer. "The ones who stood by me." The photos were beautiful. Genuine smiles, real connection, no one being erased or pushed aside. Mom saw them online. Her sister said she cried for days. "She misses you," the aunt reported. "She misses controlling me," I corrected. "There's a difference." The twins reached out before Christmas, asking to reconcile. For the kids, they said. "Our children miss Sophie." "Your children are welcome in our home," I said. "You are not. Not until you genuinely apologize and make amends." We went to court. We were punished. Brandon protested. "You were caught," I clarified. "That's not the same as being sorry." They didn't understand the difference. They'd inherited Mom's inability to feel genuine remorse. Sophie asked about them sometimes. We told her age-appropriate truth. Some people in our family made bad choices. Maybe someday they'll make better ones. Kelly's presentation about our case became legendary in photography circles. The erased daughter, she called it. Ethics committees used it for training. Document everything when clients request unethical services, she taught. You might save someone's life. She showed the before and after photos. Me, systematically removed from decades of memories. "This isn't just photo editing," she'd say. "It's psychological violence." The presentation led to policy changes in photography associations. Mandatory reporting for suspected fraud. Protection for whistleblowers. Patricia's case saved countless others, Kelly told me. Your pain had purpose. I spoke at some presentations, sharing the emotional impact. Imagine being told you don't exist in your own history. That your presence is a stain to be removed. Audiences cried. Some shared their own stories of family erasure. We built a network of survivors. People who'd been written out, edited away, denied their existence. "We exist" became our motto. Despite their attempts to erase us. Mom heard about the presentations from prison friends' families. She tried to sue for defamation. The case was dismissed immediately. Truth is an absolute defense, the judge said. 2 years later, Mom finished her sentence. She'd aged dramatically. The proud, controlling woman was now frail and bitter. Her sister helped her into a nursing home. She can't live alone, the sister explained. And none of us want her. The twins rarely visited. Their own lives were still recovering from the scandal. Brandon remarried eventually, to someone who didn't know the history. Brittany's kids grew distant, old enough to understand what their parents had done. "You tried to steal from Aunt Patricia?" her teenager asked. "Grandma made us," Brittany said weakly. "No one can make you commit fraud," the kid replied. Wisdom from the next generation. Sophie thrived without toxic grandparents. She had Dan's parents, who loved unconditionally. "Real grandparents don't try to erase you," she said matter-of-factly at age 6. The foundation grew. We helped dozens of families navigate inheritance fraud. Mark provided pro bono legal services. Kelly documented everything. "We're the anti-fraud squad," she joked. But it was serious work. Family fraud destroyed lives. We rebuilt them. 5 years after the photo incident, I received a letter. Mom's handwriting, shaky now. "I'm dying," she wrote. "Pancreatic cancer. 3 months left. Please come." I discussed it with Dan and my therapist. "What do you need for closure?" the therapist asked. "To know why," I said. "Why was erasing me worth destroying everything?" I went alone. The nursing home was depressing. Mom was skeletal, attached to oxygen. "You came," she wheezed. "To ask why," I said bluntly. "Not to forgive." She nodded slowly. "You were never supposed to exist. You were from my shameful first marriage. The twins were my real family. So you tried to erase me?" "I tried to erase my mistake," she admitted. "You were evidence of my failure." "I was your child," I said. "Not evidence. Not a mistake. A person." "I know that now," she said. "Prison gave me time to think." "Thinking isn't the same as feeling remorse," I noted. She had no response to that. We sat in silence until I left. She died 2 weeks later. I didn't attend the funeral. The twins handled Mom's funeral. They called, asking me to contribute financially. "She died with nothing," Brandon said. "Because she stole everything and lost it to legal fees," I reminded him. "We're still family," Brittany tried. "No," I said firmly. "We're biological relatives. Family is chosen, and I don't choose you." They hung up angry. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Sophie, now 10, asked about the grandmother she barely remembered. "She was sick," I explained. "Not cancer sick. Soul sick. She couldn't love properly." "That's sad," Sophie said. "Very sad," I agreed. "But we can learn from her mistakes." We used Mom's story in foundation workshops. The cautionary tale of a mother who loved control more than her child. Inheritance fraud isn't about money, I'd teach. It's about power, control, and erasure. Kelly's photos from that Christmas session became infamous. The visible pain on my face as Mom pushed me aside. Sophie's confusion. The twins' smirks. "Every photo tells a story," Kelly would say. This one exposed a crime. 10 years have passed now. The foundation has helped hundreds of families. We've successfully prosecuted dozens of inheritance fraud cases. Kelly and I wrote a book together, Erased, When Family Becomes Enemy. It became a bestseller. The twins occasionally appear in my life peripherally. Their children, now adults, reached out. "We want to know our cousin," Brandon's daughter said. Sophie, now 18, made her own choice. They're welcome if they acknowledge what happened. The cousins met. The next generation, free from their parents' poison, connected genuinely. Brandon and Brittany remained bitter, stuck in their victimhood. "We were manipulated," they still claimed. You were adults who chose greed, I'd respond if asked. Dan and I celebrated 20 years of marriage last month. You saved me, I told him. By believing me when my own family tried to erase me. You saved yourself, he corrected. By refusing to disappear. Kelly remained my closest friend. Trauma bonding at its finest, she joked. But it was more. She'd risked her business to expose the truth. Last Christmas, we held our largest family photo session yet. 57 people gathered. Foundation members, support group friends, chosen family from a decade of healing. Everyone in. Kelly called, setting her timer to join us. The photo was chaotic. Children squirming, adults laughing, genuine joy radiating. This is family, I told Sophie. People who choose to show up with love. Not DNA, she asked, wise beyond her years. DNA is just biology, I said. Family is a choice we make daily. The photo went on our Christmas card with a simple message: family isn't about blood. It's about who refuses to let you be erased. Hundreds of people responded, sharing their own stories of chosen families. Mom had tried to remove me from photos, from history, from inheritance. Instead, she'd created a movement. Your mother's cruelty birthed something beautiful, my therapist observed. Your refusal to be erased inspired others to exist boldly. The ultimate revenge wasn't the money or the criminal charges. It was thriving despite her attempts to delete me. It was existing so fully that my presence couldn't be denied. This story ends where it began, with a photo. But this one is different. It's me, Sophie, and Dan at her high school graduation. Kelly took it, of course. Sophie is valedictorian, heading to college fully funded, surrounded by love. Behind us are dozens of supporters. The family we built from the ashes of the one that tried to burn us. Tell them about Grandma, Sophie said in her graduation speech. Tell them how trying to erase someone only makes them more visible. So I did. I told the auditorium about the Christmas photo session where my mother literally pushed me aside. The fraud, the trial, the foundation born from pain. Some people will try to erase you, I concluded. From photos, from wills, from existence itself. Don't let them. Exist boldly. Take up space. Refuse to be edited out. The standing ovation was for Sophie, but she directed it to me. For surviving erasure, she said into the mic Mom had spent thousands trying to remove me from family photos. Now my story was documented in newspapers, court records, and a best-selling book. I existed in more places than she ever could have imagined. The photographer who exposed her crimes became my closest friend. The inheritance she tried to steal funded a foundation helping hundreds. The daughter she tried to erase became impossible to ignore. That's the real revenge. Living so fully that erasure becomes impossible. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share this video, and activate the notification bell for more interesting stories.